Hello, and welcome to the place on the internet I talk about comic books. My name is Patrick. I'm a comic book creator, and I'm also a musician, and I was just on tour for 6 weeks. That's why this channel has not been updated. Forgive me, please. I wanted to talk very briefly today about a topic I see floating around in the comic book sphere, entertainment more broadly, and that is what possible outcomes could there be from this most recent election. What is interesting is that very few people are talking about what impact it could have on the art directly. The conversations all seem to be about the bottom line. Who is going to be financially affected, creative people, I mean, by this Trump presidency. And until a few days ago, my answer would have been no change. I mean, we already ran this play. Honestly, what seemed to happen was that during the 2016 presidency, 45th, I think, there was a great number of people who, if not radicalized, they bunkered, right? They took their views and they fortified them, and they in their positions at entertainment companies, they broadcast those views to the larger world. I'm thinking in comic books, I'm thinking about the Big Two, which had a resistance liberal sort of energy for the last almost 10 years. And I expected that to be the case this time around too. But I don't know. The last few days have kind of, it's a small sample size, obviously, but they've put me in a headspace where I think perhaps there will be more to this than I thought. Maybe there is a vibe shift, as they say. News outlets and pundits like to use the word repudiation. Is this election a repudiation of, I don't know, I guess what you'd say, whatever language you want to use, faux progressivism, does Trump represent something culturally, or is he truly just essentially a market correction in some people's view? I don't think we can just say it was economics that did the whole of the thing, but so what does that leave? Cultural issues? I guess the fundamental question, are people sick of whatever the message has been, right? If the message in 99% of entertainment media has been X, are people just looking for Y because they've had enough X? I say this without any judgments, right? Like, this is trying to look at this thing from 1,000 miles up. Is what's on offer still exciting to people? There's for people that are into comic books and kind of the gossip of the whole thing, there was a Marvel comic where Trump was depicted as MODOK. If you've never read a comic in your life and you just came here because you like my face, this is going to be all French to you. But I think if we're going to see a cultural change in comics, it's not going to be terribly overt. It's going to be no MODOK. It's going to be no Trump as MODOK. It's not going to be, you're not going to get Border Czar, the comic book, where, an ICE agent fights immigrants or something. You're not going to get anything of that sort. You're not going to get a listing towards conservatism of any recognizable type. What you're going to get, I now believe, is corporate mandates that are a little bit more subtle, but amount to executives feeling a pinch of some type. And what I mean by that is there's going to be a mandate, hey, no depictions of Trump. And when you say that, knowing that your staff, your freelance employees who do the writing, and your full-time employees who do the editing, knowing their politics are left-leaning and knowing that they are inclined to depict Trump in a negative way, if you say new mandate, no Trump, what you're actually doing is you're not taking a pro-Trump position, but you are listing, you're playing it safe and listing conservative because it might have been proven to at least some extent that 51% of the country, or whatever it is, 47, whatever it takes to be a quote unquote majority in the electorate, might be slightly right-leaning. Now, I've always maintained that comics as a single issue, monthly periodical comic books in the United States, I believe have a center-right, very, very slight, but center-right bias in the readership. And I think that that's part of the dissonance that's been happening in the last few years, is that you have the creative people, typically the writers, because the artists, there's a lot of artists who are culturally conservative and just don't, but the writers are almost uniformly, liberal, but some of them think they're progressives, whatever it is, but you have that messaging, that the messaging attendant with a liberal faux left worldview, and you are putting that messaging out into the world for the consumption by a slightly right-leaning audience. And that's why, I mean, to some extent, there's a ton of quality issues, and I would put those first and foremost. But I think that on the politics end of things, where you're getting this, this anger, this conflict with the fans, is you're trying to appeal to a person who exists, certainly. I mean, there's many, I was going to say millions, but perhaps not. There's many hundreds of thousands of left-leaning comic book readers, but I would say that the majority are probably slightly right-leaning. Whether or not they are political, maybe not. But I think that if we were to put their worldviews on some type of matrix, they would be, they would find themselves right of center. So, point is, I think that part is going to slowly go away. I think that the more blunt messaging, the stuff that a mandate could affect, I think is going to be gone moving forward. It's going to take a while. It's going to take months and months, possibly 2 years. But it's going to be out just because, every train stops at some point, right? And again, this is without judgment on the merits of the particular arguments for, progressivism, conservatism, the Republicans, Democrats. It doesn't matter. It's just, are people tired of what they've been eating? Let me tell a quick anecdote from my life. There is a food co-op that does a vegan hot bar, and I go there for lunch. And I love Thanksgiving food. And this week, it's all Thanksgiving food. It is fake turkey with gravy and mashed potatoes I can eat, and stuffing I can eat. And so, how exciting that is? Very, for a vegan. But then it's been 4 days that I've eaten the same meal because it was good. I'm less excited today. I might mix it up. This is all to say, we've been fed one thing for almost 10 years. Is there a vibe shift? Yeah, there might be a vibe shift, but it might have less to do with, people's closely held political views, if they have any, and more to do with just, I'm on schedule for something new. Give me any new flavor, give me any taste, and how it's going to be interpreted and how it's going to be brought out to the world in a creative fashion, I don't know. But I do think that we're going to see executives who reading tea leaves, also reading balance sheets, are going to be laying down some mandates for editorial and therefore freelance. And I'm sure I'll hear about it. So we'll see if I'm right. That's my take on what you can expect from this election, if anything. Thank you for watching. I'm back on my regular bullshit with the videos, and maybe I'll even start scripting them. But appreciate everybody who watches these, and I have some announcements coming soon.